How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Loose Cannons podcast. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. An unusual one for us. I know the Loose Cannons have been running for a short period of time, but it's been mostly wins under our belts, aside from now a couple draws. The most recent coming to Chelsea at the Bridge, 1-1. 10-man Chelsea. We're here to talk all about that as usual with Jordan and James in the building. But round of applause, big up, hit the like button, hype the video for the special guest in the building tonight. Sheroy's in the building. Much requested special guest, I must say, Sheroy.
Yeah, it's funny that you say the Loose Cannons has been around for some time, brother, because it has been around for some time. From memory, your podcast launched on or around October the 15th. Not that I've been researching it before I came here, and I had the privilege of being told about it a couple of days before, because as you know, I recorded with James on the Gooniverse podcast, and he said, look, me, Turkish, Jordan, we have a podcast coming. We're going to have rotating guests. And I thought, all right, cool, rotating guests. And he gave me the little, don't worry, you'll get the call up. So I'm sat there thinking, I might even be first. I might even be the first guest. But lo and behold, 10 guests have preceded me, some of whom aren't even Arsenal fans. Anyway, so I see Tosin. I love Tosin. Big up Tosin. Lovely man. Yeah? Lovely man. You're all going to get it one by one. So I see Tosin, all of you. I see Tosin, and Turkish introduces Tosin. I have no problem with it. But he says, the reason we chose Tosin, we wanted to keep it in the family. This is Turkish. Whenever I've shared a screen with him before, people have said, is that Turkish's little cousin with a shorter beard? I celebrate my birthday the same week as Turkish every year, but no, keep it in the family. Keep it in the family. Anyway, so I sit there, I look at my phone every morning, every night, waiting for Turkish LDN to pop up and give me the call up. And it comes through. It eventually comes through. And he says, yo, man, 30th of November, 11 p.m., you on it? So I look at the fixtures and I'm like, oh, it's Chelsea. And I reply, like, yeah, Turkish, great, man. It'll be a big game, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. No reply. No reply.
Just
until today, I get a message that just says 11 p.m., bro. And then there's James. I told you, you're all getting it one by one. I'm shelling out now. Yeah, James.
Oh, well done.
James.
You're about to tell him he's the best guest. He knows the MO.
Well, I'm getting there.
You thought Matisse had counter press last week. You're about to find out, yeah? You're about to find out. So, James, the reason that anyone on YouTube even knows who I am is James. He unmuted my mic on a Twitter space years ago and brought me in. Turkish put me on my first show, which was the Supporters Club, right? So, James, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, cool. On the Gooniverse podcast, I start going, James, yo, like, I call him out live. I go, when am I going to get on the Loose Cannons, bro? And you know what James says? James says, hey, Turkish is the boss. And I said, I took that at face value. Why wouldn't I? He's my friend, isn't it? He's my friend. But little does he know that I watched the Loose Cannons. He describes himself as a co-owner of the Loose Cannons on one podcast. And then last week, I'm hearing Turkish say, hey, you know what? Everyone thinks I sourced the guests, but James played the through ball for Laura Kirk Francis.
No.
So you got a through ball for Laura, but you ain't got a through ball for me, yeah? Say less. No. Say less. I know you're Italian, and I'm meant to be meeting you this Wednesday. We're meant to be watching Brentford together if I can leave work on time. We're going to sit down and have a Soprano-style parlay, me and you. Now, Jordan, you're not getting away with it either. JJ.
I don't know what I've done, but I want to hear this.
Barrett Bryan. Channel 4, Talk Sport, and everything in between. Now, Jordan.
Not Talk Sport. Not Talk Sport.
Okay, my bad. So, Jordan.
Relax. I've been on Talk Sport recently.
Jordan's one of those brothers that, and I think you would attest to this, Jordan. Like when I saw you, PSG, right? PSG, we're at the watch along at Box Park. It's half time. It's half time, but we don't even talk football. We're worldly brothers. Like we talk about relationships, and we talk about race, and we talk about politics. And even when I see you at James's party, when you're in the YouTube scene, yeah, you speak football with a lot of people, never me and you. So you know what I do? I go, I ain't having much luck with these other two. So I'm going to go to X and I'm going to try and DM my man Jordan and see what's going on. I try and DM Jordan, but I can't DM Jordan because the brother doesn't even follow me back. Doesn't even follow me back. And instead, I've got to sit here and listen to you tell every other guest that they're the best guest. You talk about shitty sheets so much. I don't know if this is the Loose Cannons podcast or the Loose Motions podcast, big man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah? But it's cool. It's cool.
Well, listen, Sheroy, on that note,
I mean, just say, Jordan,
God,
all I heard was they're going for a nice Italian on Wednesday, and I'm not invited, and I'm the one that's in court right now. So I don't know.
Oh, you want to come to the parlay too? Don't worry. You're all.
I didn't know we were going for food
right now. I really feel welcome, but
I mean, I was gonna say it anyway, but you literally are the best guest. Like from episode 1, Sheroy, from episode 1, as I think James said earlier on, the man them in the comments, your name was first. Get Sheroy on, bring Sheroy on. And I'm gonna be honest, it was my pseudo account. I really typed that. That was really coming from me. It came from me. I put in the comments, you man should get Sheroy on because you're my guy.
Hold on,
you're my guy.
What's the handle? What's the handle for your pseudo account? You best get this right.
I don't use it anymore, but
I've got it right here. I've got it right here. 608. Don't try and test me. I've got receipts. 682 likes and 45 replies on your first episode. Petition to bring Sheroy on this podcast. What's the pseudo handle, Jordan?
I've not used it since. I just used it the one time. I can't even remember what it's called. I'm not gonna lie to you,
I say all of that, and being the mug that I am, I'm still here and over the moon because this is my favorite Arsenal podcast out there, aside from the one that I do with James every week. And love to all of you for having me.
Love Sheroy. Love.
Well, thanks for murdering us all.
Yeah,
I just want to remind you, I made you. I made you who you are. You come here, you give me this That's it.
But I think what's important is if you can't be honest and open with your brothers, who can you be honest and open with? You know what I mean? So we take it in good faith.
And I think you missed that a lot of those comments asking for Sheroy wasn't actually as the fourth rotating guest. It was to replace you, Jordan. But that's another conversation for another day. But big up everyone that has requested Sheroy. Big up Sheroy. Some entrance on the ropes, or every single one of us. But we're back. We're back in the center of the ring, and yeah, we're here to debate. We're here to fight, argue, agree, disagree, all of that stuff. But yeah, it's a disappointing result. But it's a great guest to have on to talk about it. Or make sure you go subscribe to Sheroy's Voice, people. I'm going to put the link in the description. He just mentioned the podcast with James. You should already know about that. If you don't, then you're not following James. You're not subscribed. Why are you not? You know, I could get further into that, but all you got to do is scroll up, subscribe, and scroll back down, and then we're on the screen again. You don't even have to leave, people. So show some love to the individual channels, like, hype the video, subscribe, give us your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you're playing along with predictions, then play along when we get to that part of the segment, that part of the video, that part of the show, people. So yeah, Chelsea won, Arsenal won. I've seen a lot of the reaction about it. I watched it in full over on the Big Six. Big up everyone that's crossing over here now Monday morning to watch it after watching Big Six yesterday. Big up James. He was on the club doing his thing as well. But yeah, I mean, I'll start. A sense of disappointment. I mean, if I go around to get a sense of how everyone's feeling right now, a few hours off the result, mine would be disappointment in one word. What Jordan? Let's go around your way and work our way to Sheroy.
In one word, it probably would be the same. Actually, I'm pretty disappointed. Yeah.
James,
come back to me.
Sheroy.
Surprise.
Okay.
I'm surprised that we put in the performance that we did today, and I'm surprised that the result ended up the way that it was. When I was speaking to James about this earlier in the week, I said, look, Arsenal are at a level now where if we turn up at around 85% of our full capability, we should be able to beat the vast majority of teams. And that certainly ought to have applied when they went down to 10 men. But I think when you apply context to this, you say, you know what, 1-1, we're all adults here. It's a long season. There are a couple of blips in the road, but we take it and move. We're still in a healthy position. But I can't say that I'm not surprised as to that 1-1.
Yeah, my word is meh. And I know it's not a word. It's an expression. I
thought you said meth. I thought you've been watching Breaking Bad.
I took it really badly.
Walter White, mate. Fucking hell. Sorry, meh.
Yo, Mr. White. No, meh. Just meh. And I'll explain why in a bit. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Let's start with you, James. I think meh is probably the most intriguing because I think with surprise and, you know, Sheroy's delving more into it and disappointment, I think the proof's in the word itself. With meh, I guess you're stuck between a couple thoughts. So where are you at?
Look, I really have to caveat with, of course, I'm disappointed that against 10 men for an hour of the game or more, we not only didn't win it, we didn't ask any real questions. That's what's annoying. We could have made Chelsea look average with 10 men, and we didn't. And I would like us to have looked the better team, even 11v11, and we didn't. The reason I feel meh about it, guys, is at the risk of sounding like I'm just being far too kind on the team and the players, I can weirdly, really weirdly understand how this game went the way it did. I don't think you destroy Tottenham and have that second half against Bayern Munich that you did and it come for free. I think it takes energy out of the team. It takes energy, especially that second half against Bayern. We were relentlessly pressing. We were all over them. And I think we looked tired in this game. Now, look, Chelsea beat Barca too, but they also played the whole second half against 10 men, were very in control. I don't think it was as exerting energy-wise as it was for us. And when you've got a slightly leggy team on the back of 2 massive wins, doing it without 4 of your spine, so that's your 2 starting centre-backs. I don't care how good Mosquera and Hincapie are. They are good. They are the best centre-back partnership in the world for a reason. Missing them, I think, gave us a lack of reassurance in every press and every challenge, which amounted to quite a few yellow cards. Once you're on the yellow cards, you're not going in with the same confidence with certain challenges and tackles and whatever it might be, with a certain press, with a certain authority. And you're certainly not doing it when you don't trust the guys behind you as much as you do SALIBA and Gabriel. You then not got your captain. And then you got MERINO, who I get he scored. I get he was part of Caicedo getting sent off. But he wasn't good today. Like, he's not Gyökeres. He's not even Kai Havertz at his best, or in terms of occupying defenders, but he can do some good things. And fair play, he got the goal. Another big goal from MERINO. I'm happy for him on that. I just think, like, we didn't play well. And we didn't lose. Like, that's the level we've got to. And I know they had 10 men. I know. But I just think, like, there's a few times this season where Arsenal, maybe at Sunderland after that first half, this game against Chelsea, and maybe 1 or 2 others, like Old Trafford, where we won 1-0, where maybe, you know, we might have drawn or lost that game. I think Arsenal have got to a ceiling, or should I say they've raised their floor to a point where a bad day is still a draw at Stamford Bridge. And off the back of a 5-point lead on second place against Chelsea, 5-point lead ahead of Man City. You've just drawn away at second place Chelsea. You've just smashed Tottenham and Bayern, and this was the 3rd big game. I'm disappointed with the performance. I think Arsenal should have played better, but I'm kind of fine with it. And as long as we pick up momentum again in the next few weeks, I will totally make peace with this result and performance, though it wasn't really good enough.
Jordan, that's fair. I mean, I didn't disagree with anything there. I'm not going to change my feeling.
Interesting. I thought you guys might. I thought you guys might think I was being too kind.
I mean, there's parts I'd say yes, but it's fair. You know, especially when you ended it with, you know, if we kick on now and we win the next couple of games, you know, this result is, it could be a point gained. Well, in the situation against 10 men, not necessarily, but in the situation, having a poor 90-minute performance, then you look at it otherwise, Jordan.
I think James is being kind. And I'm also going to caveat that point with, by the end of what I'm about to say, I'm more than happy to be told I'm being harsh. And I'm interested to hear Sheroy's thoughts as well, because I'm more than happy to be told that I'm being unfair. And actually, James's analysis, which is, as usual, is brilliant, is the way we should look at it, rather than the way that I'm about to look at it. Boys, I think there are points in the season where you have to smell opportunities to really cause damage. I don't think we played well today. I don't think a draw was an unfair result. I think a draw was the correct result. I factor in that you're missing your 2 starting centre-backs, your first 3 choice forwards, your captain, your creative hub, and your most informed player. Your most informed player. So I accept that. And I accept Chelsea at the time were 3rd in the league, apparently in a title race. But I just feel like, and I also accept, I think it's important, if I'm going to be fair, to look at this game, as James rightly mentions, in the context of a 7-day week. If you'd have said to me this time last week, would you take a battering of Spurs, pretty much a beating up of Bayern Munich, and then a point at the bridge, I might have said yes. I think where the opportunity has been missed is that Chelsea had their best player sent off with half a game still to go, and had their what they would say is their best player not even on the pitch. I think you have to find a way to win that game. And I'm going to be kind here. Even if you can't find a winner in that game, in that second half, boys, we didn't create a chance. The goal comes from a cross. It's a good cross and it's a good header. It's a cross. We didn't create a chance against 10 men. And I don't want to hear anybody say, but 10 men's harder to score against than 11 sometimes, because Chelsea didn't sit back. The concerning thing is, in that second half, Chelsea could have nicked it as well. Chelsea could have nicked it. They still had a threat. They still had a threat going for. They didn't just bank in and say, boys, all right, try and break us. Like, Chelsea was still going for that winner. So it's not like it was like a 10 behind the ball. We can't break you down. And for us to not fashion, I mean, forgive me, guys, remind me, how did the chance come from, the save from Sanchez where Gyökeres got booked? Did that come from anything particularly creative? Was that just...
It was quite good football, and MERINO got the shot off.
Okay.
After. So it was like, I agree with you. It was actually our only passage of play.
Cool.
I'll give chance at the end of the game that Timber took off Gyökeres.
I'll give them that then. We fashioned one chance in 45 minutes against 10 men. I don't think that is good enough for a team going for a title. Now, I'm not losing my head. I think James's first point again is very valid in that.
The guy's about to praise me. We lost him.
Last time on Loose Cannons, we got this sort of an awful lot on the old one, but
wow,
he was on a clean run on this one, but we've seemingly lost him.
I mean, I'm just saying, my internet's all right.
It is, and that's why a lot of comments are saying get him out and get you in. So I understand it.
The way he goes, and I agree with James. Where you're kidding me.
Now in a second he's gonna come out and then it's gonna go funny shaped and all of that, and I'm gonna have to deal with it. But it is what it is. Yeah. We'll deal with it. To add on to, but the thing about what Jordan's saying is, I said what James said is fair. I think what Jordan said is fair as well. I think, as there we go. As long as it doesn't. Oh, look at that! Man. I don't even know what to do. There we go. All right, cool.
Oh, no. We all got a duck. I've got to lean down to my chest a bit. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks.
Yeah. Man. Well. Yeah, where was I? I mean, Jordan's fair as well. It's about what we do in the upcoming. I think it was our poorest performance of the season. I think Chelsea proved to be the best team we faced this season. And I think, interestingly, when you look at Maresca against Arteta, all of them have been pretty tight games, tactical games, and the feeling of disappointment rings heaviest. But come Wednesday night, as long as we get the 3 points, I'm still very confident. It hasn't touched my confidence in what we should go on to achieve this season. And maybe that's me taking my mind off of the actual performance and my frustration at what we saw or didn't see. But at the same time, Stamford Bridge out of the way, Anfield out of the way, St. James Park, Old Trafford, all out of the way in the first 13 games, and we're top by 5 points right now. Yes, the gap is narrowed. It's narrowed by 1 point. Yes, it's Man City now, not Chelsea, but it's a different Man City to the one that, pipped us to the title a couple of times a couple of years back. So when I take all things in, it just puts me at peace with what I thought was disappointment. And I do want to get into why and some question marks, because there are some questions around, why, the performance was as dull as it was across the 90 minutes. But Sheroy, as I bring Jordan back in, you might as well give us your thoughts on the game as well. You said surprised, and I get that too.
Yeah, and Jordan alludes to the fact that before he got cut off, he was saying, look, there are moments in the season where you need to take advantage and you need to capitalize if you are really going to go on and win a title, right? And I completely agree with that point. But the reason I'm not so aggrieved about this is how many times have there been moments this season when we have taken advantage? Because as you say, Chelsea, Liverpool, even City, they're not relentlessly consistent to the extent that when you do get the opportunity, you absolutely must take it, or you drop points once and all the other teams are literally right on your shoulder. That's not the case this season. And the game against Newcastle, for example, when we came back, that was one of those moments where I felt like if you really needed to go and win a title, you were going to turn that game around and win it. And we did. even the one that looked like it could have been a stalemate against Palace when those around us dropped points. I think City lost to Villa that weekend. We went there and we got the win. You know, there have been so many moments in the season where we have, like title winners, gone and capitalized. So that in and of itself, I'm not really too concerned about. The reason I say surprised is, look, in my opinion, Tottenham aside for a minute, because we all know that they're in trouble, but Bayern Munich are by far and away a better side than Chelsea, for example. And I look at the performance that we put in against Bayern Munich, and I understand that it was at home, but the gulf in class between Arsenal versus Bayern and Arsenal versus Chelsea for me was very, very apparent. And I'm not just talking about how sort of fluid we looked going forward. I mean, there were a lot of unforced errors today. There were a lot of misplaced passes, a lot of them from players like MERINO, for example, in dangerous areas. And there were certain things that were really, really uncharacteristic of players. Calafiori, for example, when he gets booked, you know, he gets robbed when he really should see the man there. And it's this really sort of complacent, just tug, like, oh, I'm frustrated. You shouldn't have been able to take the ball off me, so I'm just going to get a yellow. And I'm like, mate, we've already got quite a few players on yellows. This is uncharacteristically naive. We're usually very good at game management, and I didn't really feel like we managed the game well today, because what we're very, very good at, how many times have we spoken about Arsenal this year where we say choke a team out, manage the game? In fact, it's exactly what Kimmich said. Kimmich said Arsenal weren't really about football, they were about game management. Now, whether you agree with that comment or not, we are very, very good at game management. We didn't manage the game very well, 11 against 11, but when they do go down to 10 and halftime does come and you get the opportunity to have that halftime team talk, come out and reset, I thought that we would have managed the game and managed the occasion a hell of a lot better. Throughout the second half, when I thought that Arsenal would have been a lot more patient, would have got the ball on the deck, would have played a bit more football, would have forced them back, would have gained territory, we didn't. Every attack that we had looked hasty. Every single thing looked hasty, and I didn't quite understand that. That was what was strange for me, right? I thought there would have been a much more composed performance going forward. Now, there will be a lot of people that say, well, it's easy to say gain territory, but you've got a centre-back partnership that has never played together before. So you're not really going to be banking on them the same way that you would Gabriel and Saliba, who do win you territory and then do free up a player like Declan Rice, for example. We can explain why, but that doesn't change the fact that given what I've seen and what I've come to know of Arsenal, today did surprise me. The frustration and the surprise is with this game in isolation, and because it's an opponent that we all dislike. I saw Matisse breaking into your house. Jordan, you obviously have told me that your father's a Chelsea fan and you hate Chelsea, right? James, bro, I know the part of London that you live in, and I know you grew up surrounded by Chelsea fans. We all have our problems with these guys, right? And that's where the frustration and the annoyance comes in. But if you just take a step back and you look at it, 5 points off City, who nearly fumbled the bag against Leeds. Liverpool, yeah, they got a win against West Ham, but before it went 2-0, it could have very easily and should have been 1-1 because of Bowen. I'm not too worried in terms of the season. I think if we continue to do what we have been doing, we should be okay.
So, sorry, lads. Just before I respond to Sheroy's last point there, can you believe my phone said overheating? It just went off because it was an emergency, and then the whole temperature thing came out. I don't know what. It's not even. I don't know what's going on. So apologies.
Oh, iPhone.
It's an iPhone. Yeah, I don't even know why. Anyway, mad thing. So sorry about that, guys. I won't ramble because
Your
I think we
phone's
probably
gonna
moved
heat up
on.
again. You better not.
I did. Do you think it was a sign? My phone was saying Jordan, louder waffle, louder waffle, Jordan.
Even technology is done with
just talking bare fraff. I think Sheroy's point there again is really interesting because, and I asked myself the question: are you more angry at this result because of how you feel about Chelsea? And there's probably a part in that as well. So I thought, okay, take off your dislike for Chelsea for just a second and look at the game in isolation. As you said, still 5 points clear. Again, if you'd asked me for the week we've just had, would I have taken it? I probably would have. I think the key, though, is to allaying any concerns I've got about today's performance, because there's a few individual performances I want to get into when my time comes around again, is what James said. If we can put a bow on this 7 days and go on another run, because we've got some difficult games coming up, but if we can go on another run and we can beat Brentford and we can beat Villa, we can beat... We've got Palace a couple of times in the cup for sure. If we can go on another run leading up to this Christmas program, I will accept a point at Stamford Bridge, albeit with 10 men. I will take it. My concern is an opportunity possibly missed. The Sunderland draw, I think we'll look back on in a couple of months' time, if you don't already now, and think that's a good point. That was a good point. My concern is I'm not sure we'll be saying the same thing about this result in a couple of months' time. But let's get there. Let's not lose our heads. It's a decent result against a team. And again, I'm just repeating James's points here. I agree. If a bad day at the office is a 1-1 draw away at Chelsea after beating Bayern Munich and Tottenham, and the level of energy that we put into those two games, then you probably take that. If the Chelsea game was the first of the three, I think we beat Chelsea. I think we probably beat Chelsea if it's the first one of the three, or even the second. The fact that it's the third, that might have something to do with it. I just feel like when a team goes down to 10 men with their best player off the pitch for half the game, I think, guys, if we win that game, it's one hand on the title. I really do. I think if we win that game last night, I genuinely feel it's one hand on the title, because then you're in territory of no team can put a run together. But whilst only 5-6 points, there are teams thinking, it's Arsenal. It's Arsenal. Just keep in touch. Keep in touch. You go 7, 8, 9 points clear. I think you demoralise teams. And oh God, we've now got to win 5, 6, 7 games in a row. City haven't done that. Chelsea haven't done that. And Liverpool are done. So that's why I thought opportunity missed. I think if we'd have won that game today, I think you really beat the fight out of a lot of teams.
So I agree with that. And you asked a really good question. Like, what are we most frustrated about? Is it the fact that it's Chelsea? Is it the context of the result? Because, you know, with anything, you can look at life glass half full, glass half empty. If I want to really look at it half empty, I'm going, man, in the 90th minute, City were 2-2 with Leeds. And for an hour of this game, we were against 10 men. Like, in many different timelines, we win that game and City draw to Leeds. Like, but it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way where maybe it should have. So in that sense, you can look at it and go, really disappointing. Even if City get that win that we didn't capitalize, because how many teams are going to face an away game that tough against 10 men? So for sure, you can look at it that way. But I'll tell you what's really disappointing me. And I know Jordan in particular, I know you really don't like this excuse, and I understand, and others will say it too. But I just want to play these teams with not even our full 11, but something near it. Something near it. Every time we invite players back, there's like 2 more missing. And I don't know if it's just me, and I don't know if I'm overanalyzing it or reading too much into it, but like, we really lost like 2 of the most key players for this game, because I always thought Chelsea can be a tricky game. So you need your match winners. Trossard's a match winner. He can do something out of nothing. We've already lost Gabriel, so almost the last player we can lose is Saliba. So basically think Declan Rice at the top, followed by Saliba, and then your most informed attacker, Trossard. Like, that's probably, honestly, like the top 3 players you could not lose for this game, and we lost 2 of them. And I just want to go into these games like Man City at home, where we're not playing Merino in the 10. Now, we didn't have to. There was Eze, sure, but we did that because Ødegaard wasn't fit. You know, same with Liverpool away. Saliba comes off after a few minutes. That is starting to wind me up. And I know we've got the squad depth. I know we're in a great position. I know this is why we signed the depth to have, to have answers for this. But that's where I'm getting quite frustrated, man. It really is starting to bug me. And fair play to the players. I actually don't think they're letting it be an excuse, nor should they. Nor should Arteta. Keep responding, keep bouncing back, keep going. But it's starting to personally wind me up a lot.
But that's also one of the reasons why I feel quite confident about the way the season's going to go, right? We've done all of this through such adversity. And I'm sat there thinking, I mean, look, we've got, obviously, Jordan talking about one hand on the title, but when someone says that, regardless of what today's result would have been, I would have sat there and gone, we're a third of the way through the season at this point in time. So even if it is maybe a 3 or 4 game swing, there is still a lot of football to be played. So I don't know if I would have felt like it was one hand on the title. Even if we had won this game, I would have probably just felt just as confident as I did last week. And I'm still pretty confident now, because I'm sat there saying, well, okay, we haven't had our best 11 against a lot of these teams. In fact, if you look at the way that we performed against a lot of these big 6 teams, Liverpool, we didn't really look very good and we lost. Manchester United didn't look great, but we won. Manchester City, we didn't look great and we got a draw. Tottenham, of course, we looked good, and then we saw what happened today. But now there are a lot of these teams that need to come to the Emirates. Hopefully, when Ødegaard and Gyökeres aren't just sort of phasing their way back into the team, hopefully they're a lot more stable. Hopefully one or both of Gabriel and Saliba are back. So I know it's frustrating, but we can look forward and say, look at what we've got to come, and look at where we are, and look at the fact that a lot of these guys have to come to ours. Now, Chelsea, I don't think they've played City once. So they've still got to play each other twice too. There's so much football to be played this season that I can't let this one game rock all of the good stuff that I've felt and been saying about Arsenal in the weeks gone by. If I'm really going to sit here and say on the podcast with James, with Chest, I'm changing my prediction from Liverpool to Arsenal, which I did. If I'm really going to sit here and say we have the deepest squad in the league, if I'm really going to sit here and say, no, but we've come second, we've absolutely learned from that, and these big boys are going to step up. If I'm saying that with conviction, one bad day at the office really, really cannot be enough for me to waver at this point in time. We've got to, as everyone's been saying on this pod, we've got to act like we belong here, you know. And if you get scared after a 1-1 draw, even if it's against 10 men, that ain't a man or a team that belongs there. The man or a team that belongs there now goes and smokes Brentford.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why it's also disappointing or frustrating for me, because I really want to change my prediction, Sheroy. I really want to be like, now we're winning it. And I think if we'd have won today, I would have done that. I still have those doubts that we just can't quite get to that point where I'm like, yeah, we're going to win it. But can I ask the three of you, are any of you guys concerned about these injuries? Is it bad luck, or is there something more we should be concerned about?
What is the Saliba injury? What's the update? I haven't checked.
It was a knock in training, apparently.
It's precautionary. He said he felt something and they weren't sure. They didn't want to risk it. They'll do some tests. Hopefully it's not too bad. But, you know, you never know with Arteta and Arsenal, man. Sometimes it's something like that and someone's out for a month. Sometimes they're in the matchday squad the next game. We don't know.
Gyökeres was precautionary. He ended up missing like 4 or 5 games for 3 weeks. So I have no idea.
It's when you look at it in totality across the season, the names and numbers just don't seem right. Unusual, unlucky maybe, but it just feels like every time we do have 1 out, 2 out, 2 are coming back in at the same time, which kind of resets the balance a little bit. Like as much as the Saliba, you know, news was a knock, it was good seeing Gyökeres and Gabriel Jesus on the bench. You know, so it all is. And there's no time to dwell on it, really, especially now. You know, midweek game next weekend, and Champions League the week after. Like we're in that hectic period now. But because we've coped so well, and because we made sure in the summer we had the adequate squad to deal with anything of the sort. I just feel comfy about it, but it is on the edge. Like when I saw 6 attackers out against Sunderland, I said we need this international break. And then that international break brings about the Gabriel injury, and then now Saliba's out. So you know it's quite a pendulum swing over the first 13 game weeks in terms of the amount of injuries and the big names involved. Odegaard, Havertz, Saliba, Gabriel. Saka's been out a little bit. Trossard, probably our most efficient attacker of the season so far, comes off, whilst Odegaard comes on. You know, return, and then we're losing him. But Sheroy said it. Surely there comes a point in the season where this balances out a little bit, and then we are wondering how this person's not in the squad, because we are so stacked, and because everyone is kind of in that vein of consistency, you know, avoiding injuries, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel and chasing it. Because certain time, you know, it does come to that. I don't think we can be this unlucky with injuries for the whole season. The first 13 games, I'd struggle to find another patch for any other team across many seasons that you know live up to the amount of names we've had missing.
But that Turkish is the basis of my question. Is it bad luck, or is it something that we're doing wrong? Because bad luck is a leg break. Bad luck is an ACL. Muscle strains, that's not bad luck. So I don't know the answer to my own question, but I'm just asking, is this bad luck, or are there things that we are doing? Because you know me, I'm not really here for the excuses with injuries when they're muscle injuries. That's wear and tear. That's a lack of management of the load that you're putting on the players.
There's not many muscle out of the list. I'm sure there's more impact injuries than muscle. Off the top, I'd say Martinelli was muscle.
Yeah.
Gyökeres was muscle.
Havertz was muscle.
Havertz was clamped by Ugarte on the first day of the season.
No, didn't. Oh, so I'm thinking of the long-term injury.
You're thinking of the last one he had.
Last one. Okay.
You're right.
Odegaard was shoulder and knee impact. Madueke was knee. Who else we had out?
Gabriel was muscle, and I definitely think we overused him. I mean, this is Saliba's 3rd knock of the season. You know, came off against Liverpool, couldn't play Palace at home.
Palace,
No, came off against Palace, or couldn't play?
He didn't play. I don't think he played.
I think he came off at half time.
Did he?
That's it. Came off at half time. That's it. Yeah. Mosquera came on, innit?
So 2 games he's come off, and third game he's travelled but not played. Look, there's a few ways to look at this, right? You could either say fair play to the Arsenal team. Maybe a lot of these players would have got what I'm calling the Ben White treatment. Ben White, I'm convinced, if he had the injuries he's had the last few years, but he had this new regime around him where basically you feel anything you're not playing, he'd have missed a lot more games. It feels like in the past we've maybe got players out there like Saka, like Ben White, like a few others when they weren't really 100%. So I don't mind that because the depth is there. It's just, it does feel all a bit concentrated in one area, doesn't it? You know, first it's the attack, feels decimated. We get quite a few players back. And now, like, it's our centre-back partnership missing. You know, I will acknowledge other teams have injuries too. Like, it's not just us. And I think it's where football's at the moment. And bigger squads probably is the future. It is just, you said it really well there, Turkish. Like, how many people over this game stretch have had this many injuries to this many key players? But crucially, at this point of the season, we've had so many key games. So while I take a lot of encouragement out of the grounds you've just listed off, the fixtures we've had, and you can chuck in there that we're in a Carabao Cup quarter final, that we've beaten Atletico and Bayern to going top of that. You know, great. But we've done quite a lot of that with, I'd argue, like our spine, bar Zubimendi and Rice, all missing significant games and minutes. It's really strange. I've never known anything like it.
I think Saliba was a big miss today.
I
actually think Mosquera and Hincapie were struggling to play at the back a little bit. I think, and that's semi-expected. Brand new partnership. At the same time, I don't think Zubi and Rice helped as well. And because after 15 minutes, I feel like Chelsea's midfield really started, you know, stealing the show. Caicedo, Reece James, Eze was clamped. Caicedo was on him. So yeah, I felt like anytime Mosquera has this ball that he likes to play that I've seen enough of already. He goes out to the right back position and he absolutely pelts it across the ground into the center circle. And listen, when it works, it's like, oh shit. When it doesn't work, I'm sure like he did it a few months ago against someone. I forgot who it was. It might have been that game he came on at half time and he gave it away and they had a chance off the back of it.
I thought in Newcastle he was poor. I think there was a bit of distribution in Newcastle. I wasn't.
Maybe it was that.
I think Newcastle, he puts the ball out for the corner they score from, right? When he doesn't need to be kicking it out. I think that's what it was.
He had a moment which he needs to make sure it didn't cost us.
He had a couple.
That moment was like, come on, brother.
Two things with the centre back pairing, guys. I noticed. Did anybody else notice how Declan Rice almost slotted in as a 3 in between them a lot of the time? And I think, and this is the reason why I think his performance was really good, because the whole team knew the centre back pairing are out. So I think he was either told or decided himself, I'm just going to kind of look after them a little bit. The amount of times I saw him in between Mosquera and Hincapie, I liked it because I think he was thinking, this is a new partnership. Let me just drop back 10 yards and get the ball from the keeper and just help out a little bit. But the reason why I rate him is because it didn't necessarily prevent him from doing his work in the other box, going the other way. So he did more than what he meant to do defensively, yet still did what he does, you know, pretty much normally offensively. And also I noticed there was an intensity, and I'm going to give a bit of grace because it's their first game playing together. There was a lack of intensity, I thought, from those two centre-backs where they just didn't get to the ball quick enough on too many occasions. Too many times I saw Hincapie and Mosquera just get beaten to the ball, just reacting a bit too late. And like I said, I'm going to give them some grace. It's their first time playing together, and it's a big game away against Chelsea. So I'm not having a go at them. I'm just saying there was a to James's point earlier. It looks like you are going to need one of Saliba or Gabriel to kind of, I'd say baby them, but just be the kind of, don't worry, guys. I've been here. I've done this. I've got this. You're good. Do you know what I mean? Because it wasn't a poor performance from the two of them, but I saw enough of them to make me think if that is going to be the partnership for an extended period, could be quite concerning.
Playing devil's advocate, though, it's the first time they've played together, so it may only get better from here. Right? Arteta very often talks about partnerships and synergy and chemistry, and Gabriel and Saliba, they're great now, but They weren't this great when they first started playing together. They were very good, but you progressively get better the more you play.
Sheroy. You can tell this podcast who's the half full and who's the half empty glass person on this podcast.
Well,
right? Okay.
I try and be somewhere in between. I try and be somewhere in between. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But again, look on that. Yes, they were second to some balls, but again, I thought Eze was a little bit off the mark when it came to protecting the ball and getting robbed quite easily. I thought Merino didn't guard the ball very well and gave it away with a lot of unforced errors. I thought Martinelli ran into traffic quite a bit and didn't really create on the left. So we can single out those centre backs if we want to, but there is a part of me that says this was actually systemic today, and that actually adds weight to what James was saying, which is, well, maybe it is cumulative. Maybe they did go hell for leather against Tottenham and batter them, did the same against Bayern. Chelsea did play the day before against 10 men. Now we have to go to Chelsea's ground with 24 hours less and some big injuries. That's why I do sort of lean towards those explanations. It doesn't make it any easier for me to palate this performance, but it is an explanation.
Well, so I think some really fascinating points have been made there. I agree with Turkish about the playing out the back. And for all my being quite kind to Arsenal, you should be feeling quite fresh and quite sharp in the first 20 minutes of a game, ready to go. I appreciate they had the teeth. I appreciate they made noise. I appreciate they came with energy. But we were so sloppy in not just our touch and our looking after a possession, but our decision-making. Just some of the passes we were attempting, execution of quite easy ones. There was a Zubimendi clipped ball out to Calafiori, which I thought, brilliant. Take a touch and we've got the overload. It went over his head. And I couldn't even tell if it was a bad pass or if Cala just didn't jump. And there was lots of little moments like that where I went, come on, Arsenal. Like, this is basic. It's not like a wet, rainy day at the bridge. You know, I appreciate they've been aggressive, but, you know, they're still having moments on the balls. I was really disappointed about that. And I don't think we ever had the patterns. Mosquera and Hincapie were trying to rotate and build up, and it just didn't really happen. But where I do give them credit, and you guys are right to sort of defend them a little bit, brand new partnership, but also when all is said and done, Chelsea were very good. I agree. We were poor. Yes, they had an outlet and they did well with 10 men. But I don't remember Raya really being called into that much action. Remember one save from a set piece, João Pedro header.
It was going wide anyway. He didn't even need to do that. Yeah.
So, you know, obviously they scored again from a set piece. But I think that was because Mosquera and Hincapie kind of just dug deep, didn't they? They just kind of like just threw their body on the line. Where Saliba and Gabriel are immense, man, is those two are so good at defending on their feet. They're so good at basically just like forcing you down a channel, forcing you to play a pass down an area, getting in front of you and just sweeping up really neatly. Now, for me, the only Arsenal player I give major credit to, because I agree, Eze, really poor, Martinelli, really poor, Zubimendi, underwhelming, Saka, great assist, but wasn't amazing today. Merino, thanks for the goal, but wasn't great. For me, Declan Rice, look, I'd be trying to wind up Chelsea fans if I said he won the battle, right? But the one thing I would say, because Reece James was immense in midfield, but the one thing Declan Rice did today that I thought was so impressive, and is what I want when people do these debates like midfielders, I want people to take note of what Declan Rice did in this game. Everything was so clean. Those tackles against, you know, Pedro Neto in the penalty area before he shoots, one on the edge of the area in the second half. There's one driving run he did just to try and get us up the pitch. There was like, he saw the level that Reece James, Enzo, like I said, others were playing at before the red card, all that. And he rose to it, whereas I think others slightly wilted under it. And that's why I've just got so much time for Declan Rice. And if we were going to win the game, it was because he was protecting us at one end and trying to drive us up the other. Did he have a magical game, 10 out of 10? No. But I like what he stands for in these big games a lot. And he was so clean out of possession.
I was so disappointed with the subs as well. I thought Gyökeres was a waste of space. I thought MLS had a stinker. Who else came on? Odegaard was okay. He was trying. Nothing was really working, but Odegaard was trying. Somebody else came on. Madueke. And it's funny because I was saying at half time, I think this game is set up for Madueke. I thought he was the halftime sub. I would have tried to get him on at half time. I just thought that directness. I think Cucurella was on a yellow card at that point as well. I think he was on a yellow card. I just think it just really, even if you switch Saka to try something different, put him on the left, I just think that direct running at Cucurella could have caused him problems. He did nothing. He looked scared. He looked really scared. He kept turning back and passing the safe ball. And if there's one thing that Madueke is supposed to be, and he is good at, it's just that raw, I'm going to run at you. I might not always beat you, but I'm going to run at you. I'm going to run at you. I'm going to run at you. And he didn't do that today. I don't want to use the whole playing his former club excuse thing. He was just poor. I thought all of our subs were just, apart from Odegaard, he wasn't great, made zero impact. And when when 4 or 5 of your players who are starting are all on a 5 out of 10, I think you need some of your subs to come on and be like, okay, I'm going to try and grab this and raise this. And not one of them did that. It was such a poor performance overall.
I think you make a great point there, because I don't even think it was just the players who came on looked poor. I thought the actual subs and decisions from Arteta were poor. Now, we've given Arteta a lot of credit. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe we should have given even more credit for these run of great results, the position we're in this season. And I think he's done so much right, and his subs have been brilliant. More halftime subs, more earlier subs, more game management, injuries to deal with, cool. But these are really strange ones to me, because Eze wasn't great, but what did we say even last week after his hat-trick? Yeah, but he can pull out a moment. If that ball's going to fall to someone on the edge of the area, you kind of want it to be him. So I don't know whether he just played a lot of minutes, but Zubimendi, albeit on a yellow card, is probably the player who can pull out that pass or that moment again. And I was surprised that he came off when actually he was probably going to spend a lot of the game on the ball in Chelsea's half, despite being on the yellow. I think Timber was one of our better performers, and I gave him a lot of credit off the ball, but I think we needed more help on the right. So you could go for a Ben White, who's an overlapper or a different type of player there. Or you swap Madueke and Saka sooner. He did that eventually, but just took a little while. I don't know. There was just quite a few things that I didn't love. I thought Waneri could have got on the pitch.
I disagree. I thought the subs were the right subs at the right time. I just thought they just had zero impact. I didn't have a big issue when they came on. Sorry,
I lean to that. When the subs were getting ready, I said, yeah, each and every one. I said, yeah. What? None of them had an impact. But I guess that's more instruction based, tactical based, or did Chelsea just deserve it? Did Chelsea just pull it out the bag in terms of a performance that has managed to nullify us and stop any impact we can have in the final third? Sheroy?
Yeah, look, Chelsea were good. I don't want any of us to sound like we're hating, and I'm not sure any of us have said, look, give Chelsea credit. And I think we all feel like they deserve the credit for that performance, right? But I mean, look, how often have we looked at Arteta and said, yeah, you're bringing on someone like Odegaard, but it's a like-for-like sub. Why haven't you chanced it a bit? But he didn't do that today. He took off Zubimendi. He took off his 6 and he brought Odegaard on, right? And he did bring Gyökeres on. And we can talk about Ben White, but he already had Lewis Skelly, Hincapie and Mosquera on. You bring Ben White on, you suddenly got your Carabao Cup back 4 on against Chelsea away, right? So it's easier said than done in that situation. Ultimately, yes, he could have changed Madueke and Saka around a little bit earlier, but ultimately he did do it, right? So how many times have we looked at those sorts of subs in games like Liverpool, for example, and said, well, he didn't quite do it early enough. And the reason that he brought Odegaard on, I think, is because he wanted Odegaard and Eze on the pitch for a little bit together, which is why it was Zubi, right? And that's what you'd think you'd need when you get a goal, which is why I lean more towards actually it was the way that the subs performed that was more disappointing. But again, I think it's difficult to just hone in on the subs because they ultimately just sort of continued the tone that was set by the starting 11. That's where my surprise and my discontent comes in. There was a part of me when I was watching this, right? There was a part of me that thought, we're taking so much time on the ball and we're not playing with that much zip. Is there just an element of us, jump in if you think I'm doing too much here, yeah? Is there just a bit of us believing in our own source a little bit too much here after what we've done and the way in which we beat Bayern, thinking that we're going to have that much time and space on the ball? Because the way that those Chelsea boys came out, they were dogged and they did look that like they had that little bit more grit than us today. And the reason I was so surprised is because I'm just not used to seeing that from our boys. And by that point, when that happened for 15, 20, 30, it plagued the rest of the game. I think we looked a bit like that from the outset. And I keep going back to that Calafiori incident when he got robbed and then petulantly got booked. That really upset me, seeing that, because and then Calafiori on a booking, you take him off. Arteta says he's done that because he's trying to be smart. We've got quite a few yellows and we don't want a red, something else that we've criticised him for, where he's being proactive. What does Miles come on and do? Miles come on and gets booked. He gets booked needlessly, and you're in exactly the same position, but now with a slightly lower caliber defender. And that's where a lot of my frustration lies.
I think there's going to be
Cala sub either, but you were right about what you're saying about the subs in general. I concede that, yeah.
There might be a conversation around Lewis Skelly and how we get him back up to speed coming soon. I don't think it's today, but he had a stinker today, and I don't think he was great. He played. When did he play recently?
Bayern, man.
Bayern, yeah.
He was great against
He
Bayern.
wasn't good against Bayern. Now look, he's young. We put that in. James, you know me. I don't really put too much stock on the young thing. I think if you're in the squad and you're mixing with the men, there's a standard, right? But I will give a little bit of grace, a little bit. He's young and he's not had much minutes this season, or he's been in and out, so that rhythm isn't there. I get that,
and he's not really left back.
Well, then don't play him at left back. Then do you know what I mean? Play him where you think he can do the best damage.
In the end, he didn't. He didn't.
True, he didn't. No. But we need the Lewis Skelly somewhere near. He's miles off last year, no pun intended. He's so far off where he was last season. It's not even like he's dipped a little bit. His performances are bad. They're not like, they're bad. So we need to just keep an eye on that, because at some point, especially during the Christmas period, he's going to play. He is going to play over the Christmas period at some point. There's a lot of games coming up. I just wanted to also just say a quick apology to Eza, because I thought back on what I said about Eza on the last pod about his performance against Spurs, and I said, apart from the hat-trick, I don't think he actually did much. I take that back, because where we really hurt Tottenham the most was in that box in between Bentancur, Palhinha, and the two centre-backs. And that's where he operates. So when I thought about it some more, I was like, actually, no, there was nothing spectacular, but just his movement and his touches in that area, it finished Tottenham. So I wanted to kind of make sure that, because I thought he was poor today, but if you said to me, you're going to get a hat-trick from Eza and a really good performance against Bayern, and you're going to dip against Chelsea again, in 7 days, I would have taken that. So I thought I was a little bit harsh on Eza. So I wanted to kind of...
Has he jumped into your DMs and given you a bit
No. He didn't hot man up. He didn't hot man up. No. None of that.
Can I ask you guys a question? Sorry for overtaking hosting duties for a sec there. So what's everyone's take on Chelsea then as potential title winners? What they gave to the game today? I've got a slightly controversial take on this, but I'd like to hear what you guys think first.
In all honesty, yeah, they remind me of us 22, 23, and I include the red cards with that, like that Caicedo, that Caicedo eagerness. You know the way we described Gabriel and Saliba earlier. The way that I would describe it and summarize it is, yes, aggression, but controlled aggression. And that comes with time and that comes with experience. These guys right now, they don't have the controlled aggression, Chelsea. They're still quite raw. They had the aggression. When Chalobah scored, man's going like this. You know what I mean? He's flexing like they wanted. They were hyped. They were pumped. They came out. But that ultimately is also what led to the red card. They have a lot of talent. They can be very direct and very vertical. But I think there's an element of control that they need. I think there's an element of consistency that they need. And I don't think they're quite there yet. But that's not to say that they can't be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, the same way that we looked at our team in the 22-23 season. And by the way, like, they should be there with the amount that they've spent too, right? They have to be aiming for the title at some point. So that's where I see them anyway.
That's fair. I agree with that.
Just before Turkish gives his answer, it's a good question, James, because I've been the one mouthing off saying, just not taking them seriously. And the reason why I say that, even though they got a really good draw today, and I thought they were good today, I think you have to have a level of consistency to be a team that makes me think you can win the title. I think when we talk about title contenders, we have to think about people, when you close your eyes, can you see Chelsea lifting the title in May? I just don't see it. And people say, oh, it's a race, they're in the race. Well, hang on a minute. If there's a 100-meter final, I've used that analogy before, a 100-meter final, and Usain Bolt is in his prime in it, and I'm in the lane next to him, I'm in the race, but I'm not. What does that mean? I'm not going to do anything. We all know Jordan Jarrett Bryan isn't going to win that race, so don't take me seriously. So are Chelsea in the race? Okay, if that's what makes you feel better. Are they genuine contenders to lift the title in May? I don't see it, because I think you have to at some point win 8, 9, 10 in a row. And I just don't think Chelsea can do that. I think at some point their keeper will throw one in. At some point, their two guys up front are going to let you down. At some point, they're going to get too many red cards. Palmer's injury problems look like, okay, he's back on the bench now, but how long before he's out again? Reece James had a good... There's just too many things that make... They're young. The manager's young. There's just too many things that make me think I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I think we're different. I think we're in a position where we feel primed. We've been building towards this. There's a good mix of experience and youth. The discipline, we've got back on track now. I just think if we can put a run together now, I think we can really, really pull away from the likes of Chelsea.
I don't entertain a race until February, you know this, so it's hard to really, it's hard to really say in or out. But what I will say is no one's worried me so far. And I know maybe to opposition fans watching this now, that might sound like a bit of arrogance. It's not, or entitlement. It's not. It's just that so far this season we have been the best side in the country, arguably in Europe. And I'm confident in us, and I'm confident in our ability to handle that adversity that Sheroy talks about, because it has been adversity. Whether you want to say it's a small bit or a bigger bit, it's adversity, and we've passed it with flying colours. So. Yeah, I'm not entertaining a race yet, but Chelsea and Man City, they're in the conversation. I'll call it a conversation more than a race right now. Liverpool, I'm not. For me, Chelsea and City are. Chelsea had a surprise because I thought it would have been Liverpool and City at the start of the season. But it's not to be them, it's Chelsea City. But I agree with Jordan. If we go on the run that I believe we should go on, we can go on, we will go on in the next month, 2 months, then there might not be a race in February if you ask me the same question. I think we've got the ability to run away with this season's league. It's just at times I worry about our attack. You'll have a game like Bayern Munich where 25 minutes assess the situation, they're heavy in possession but doing nothing with it, and then bang, it all clicks. Second half, we're creating chance after chance for the smoke. Them, it looks like things are better. Newcastle, Bilbao, the attack was a bit more, free flowing. Today, not so much. But then you got the injuries, and then you see Gyökeres, Odegaard, and Jesus on the bench. And when I look at what's missing in the attack, it's a bit of a Jesus, Odegaard, Gyökeres type of profile. And they're very different, but our attack is missing all of that at times, in my opinion, in the final third. So, yeah, Chelsea put up the best test so far this season, best team we faced this season. Mosquera is an interesting one for me. I think when you look at the game, the tactics and his record against Arteta over the last year and a half, I think Chelsea might be going places with him. But when I say going places, I don't envision that this season. I think it's our season to take.
What do you think, James?
My controversial take was that I think this result is seen as like something of more of a win for Chelsea and more of a defeat for Arsenal. I appreciate it was a draw, but you get what I'm trying to say. That's kind of the narrative post-game. Listen, I think they had us really struggling that first 30, 40 minutes. And I think Caicedo getting a red card and Chelsea battling through 10 men, I can totally sympathise. I said this on my match reaction. I can sympathise having seen Arsenal draw at the Etihad and celebrate it. and I remember when we lost at home to Man City 2-1 on New Year's Day 2022, I was proud of the team. I totally and utterly appreciate that even not in defeat, you can take a lot of pride out of your team's performance. But as much as I see the pride that they have for their Chelsea performance, I also think it was a missed opportunity for them, man. We were not fully fit. We were not at our best in terms of our energy, technical security. They were all over us. And Caicedo gets a ridiculous red card. He's gone steaming in like, what's it called? Studs into the ankle of MERINO. I mean, what's he doing? This is one of their best players. And they rightly rate him supremely highly. But as much as they should be genuinely, proud of their team's efforts, I think they should be disappointed by the missed opportunity. Whereas, like we said earlier, for all the context around, you're up against 10 men, you had injuries, you didn't play very well. Arsenal will have come out of this with a 6-point gap still on Chelsea, where they were much better than us. So I think you can look at it in so many different ways. So I know you're going to come in short. Just very, very quickly, I'll just say this on Chelsea. I agree with Jackson. I think they're going places. And if we believe we're going to win the league this season, which I do, it'll be the first time we've won it for over 20 years. So I'm not really looking down on anyone being our challengers, because I think there's going to be something new this season, and that could come in the form of new challenges and new whatever. So Chelsea could well be up there. I just think when I look at the league table, while they are 6 points behind us, they've won 7 games and dropped points in 6. So like they've won 1 more game than they've dropped points in. It's 3 defeats already, and 2 of them are like Brighton, Sunderland at home, things like that. They haven't been to Anfield, they haven't been to the Etihad, they haven't been to the Emirates. I think this season will come too soon for them. I think they need a couple defenders.
Yeah,
but I really like João Pedro and Delap. I really like Cole Palmer. I like their midfield. I think they could do the better left winger. Esteval will develop. So I was just interested in your take. I think like they are on a very good trajectory, but I just think this is a missed opportunity for them as much as it was for us. I don't think either fan base should be like elated or disappointed. I think everything's just kind of keep calm and carry on from before a ball's even kicked.
Sorry, just before Sheroy comes in, just quickly, sorry, bro. I'm not sure I fully agree that they are going places, right? Because whilst I think Maresca's an interesting manager and they've got a couple of trophies in the bag already, they have beaten a lot of big teams already in under his tenure. They have to significantly improve their personnel, in my opinion. And, you know, Rory Jennings speaks really eloquently on the subject of his team, where he says, we're not a football team, we're a business, right? I don't think you win a title unless you've got either elite attackers, strikers, or you've got elite defenders and a goalkeeper. I just don't see a team winning a title with, if your defenders are Colwell, Badiashile, Tossen, even Colwell, who's their best defender, I don't rate highly, and Sanchez is in goal, and your strikers are Pedro and Delap. I don't think either of those ends scream elite. So I think unless they're going to change their model and go and buy the best striker or buy the best defender, which their model doesn't allow it to do, I don't know if they're going to win a title. They might win a Champions League, but a Premier League, I just think City, even Liverpool and Arsenal are going to just buy the best. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sure they are on track for a title, but I just wanted to add that in before Sheroy comes.
Yeah, no, I mean, the reason I wanted to jump in was when James was talking about opportunity missed and the way that people are looking at this game right now. That Caicedo red, if you guys have time, go and watch Kara's breakdown of it afterwards.
I've just seen it.
I mean, yeah, Caicedo commits that foul, but he's ultimately, you know, facing his own goal when he commits that foul. There's no need for him to get involved there. And now, can you imagine? So this is a second versus first showdown at the home of the second place team. If Arsenal were second and City were 6 points ahead, and one of our players went and got a red like that when we were in the ascendancy and it looked like we were about to win and close the gap, what do you think the narrative would have been? It wouldn't have been,
Thank you.
You know, should VAR have intervened if it was a yellow on field? No, but it was a red. Okay, but Chelsea were valiant and ultimately great value for the point. We would have got absolutely shafted in the narrative, like day in, day out by media and sort of fan pundits alike, right? So I'm not entirely sure why Chelsea get the grace here. Maybe it's because people don't think they ought to be in a title race, but ultimately they're here. So it was definitely an opportunity miss for them. The point is, I think if you're weighing up the opportunity that they missed versus the opportunity that we missed, I think it's a bigger opportunity miss for us, and I think that's why
I agree with that.
That's why we're going to get the brunt of it. But I really do think if it were the other way around and we did that against City, I mean, look at the Trossard yellow against City, right? The second one for kicking the ball away. I mean, that was nowhere near as ridiculous and stupid as what Caicedo just did. And in fact, it was a bit of a dodgy law. But Trossard got slated for that and got called an absolute mug for it, and ultimately was held accountable for the way that we had to perform for the rest of the game. I think this Caicedo one was a lot worse and a lot more unnecessary, quite frankly, but he isn't getting anywhere near the level of stick that Trossard got. And Trossard wasn't labelled the best midfielder in the world at the time either. So it's interesting to see the way this stuff pans out conversationally.
I couldn't agree more. And crucially, we would all be on this podcast going mental if one of our players did that. I'd be going mad. I mean, what do you mean we're all over these guys? Why have you... I didn't like it back... I mentioned that New Year's Day defeat to City. And look, I thought the referees were terrible that day. I thought we played well. I thought there were some dodgy decisions. But I didn't love Xhaka getting a grab of Bernardo Silva. I didn't love Gabriel going into the back of Gabby Jesus, who played City at the time. Like, and as much as we were disappointed, we called those things out at the time too. So as much as like the 10 men that were left on the pitch of Chelsea and Maresca deserve credit, you're judging a team by their individual parts as well. And this is their 6th red card this season, a totally and utterly unnecessary one from a player that's been lauded and rightly so. I think as much as there's kind of praise in their valiant efforts, there should also be, what are you doing? Like, that's so mature.
You're right, James. And I got the phone to my dad earlier on, and he's giving the whole, oh, if we had 11 men. And then he brought up the United one. And I'm like, Dad, you know that you getting red cards, that's your fault,
Your
right?
fault.
You know that's not Man United's problem. That's not your players keep getting sent off. That's a you problem. So I totally agree with that point there about their ill discipline and it killing them in the end. It's gonna end up hurting them as well. Can I just make two quick points, Turkish? Sorry, just two quick ones. First of all, the time wasting throw in, I lost my head. Timber got booked, I think got booked for being too slow. Or was it Timber?
No, he didn't get booked in the game. Remarkably, he survived it. But Mosquera, Hincapie, Calafiori, Zubimendi did. He might have got told off for it.
I think maybe they got the throw then. There was a foul for him taking, and it just really annoyed me because it reminded me of last year where Timber and Partey constantly got done for taking too long on throw-ins. And then the other thing, again, just going back to the last podcast again, in this pod we've mentioned injuries and how that's affected us and impacted us. I listened back to our last podcast because I'm that kind of guy. I'm a weird one, right? Maybe a narcissist, and I couldn't sleep. And we didn't actually reference the fact that Bayern were missing Davis and Musiala and Diaz was suspended. So I just thought it was something we should have mentioned because if we were missing Saka, Rice, and Saliba and lost 3-1, we would have mentioned that. Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to. Is something I think we should have mentioned that we didn't, just to be fair and balanced.
I don't think we mentioned it because even with those three, we were missing more. I think we were missing Erdegaard, Gyökeres, and Gabriel.
Yeah,
and Martinelli was only fit for the bench.
I think those three, probably bar Kane, are their three most important players, though, arguably.
We had no recognized striker though.
No, I'm just saying, like, for balance purpose, I'm just saying.
Musiala's up there in the top 4. Diaz has been in great form.
Bayern Munich, man, I don't give a shit about that.
I'm just saying.
13 past midnight. Can I make a point? Bayern Munich have 3 players injured. The game before the game we're talking about now.
Listen, it's relevant because we've mentioned.
He went to the game before the game before. He went to the game before the game before for Eze as well, man.
Eze, like random.
That's not work in the morning, bro.
Well, actually,
to be fair to Forest, when we beat them 3-0, it was Andrew's first game. To be fair, I think it's important we say that.
Forget you lot.
Cool. Listen, we passed the hour, people. So hit that like button. 1,000 likes should be on the nose right now. If it's not, make it happen. If it is, let's get to 2,000. Make sure you show Sheroy's channel some love. The individual channels in the description below, and we'll keep it moving. We got Brentford Wednesday midweek fixtures back in full effect now that the last international break of the calendar year and the last one for the foreseeable future is out the way. The games don't stop, people. So Brentford Emirates Wednesday night. One of the most informed strikers in the league coming to the carpet. A Brentford side that underwent a major change in the summer managerial wise, but have seemingly, done well for themselves. Seemingly chosen the right path. Any worries regarding this one, Sheroy?
You know what I mean? When you speak about that striker, obviously they are quite a direct team, right? And we said that even though Hincapie and Mosquera were good, this is a centre-back partnership that does look slightly more fragile than Gabriel and Saliba. I'm sat there saying, well, if Saliba's back in, I back us to keep a clean sheet. If Saliba's not back in, maybe we don't keep a clean sheet. But am I worried about the result? No. I think at the Emirates, I think we're going to have to look a lot more free-flowing. And even though they are direct, I don't think that they should have anywhere near what's required to be able to withstand what we can throw offensively. I mean, Gyökeres did just come off the bench. Jesus was on the bench. We do have Martinelli and Madueke there. Saka is still knocking about, right? We still do have players like Eze. We have the best set piece taker in Rice. We're at the Emirates in what has now become a game that, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's must win in terms of if you don't win that game, your season falls to shit. But then suddenly there is a conversation about form, so that it's must win through that lens, in that it's must win to put to bed the conversation about this Chelsea game. Put it that way. That's the way that I look at it. So I'm not worried about it. In fact, I'm glad it's coming quite soon. Very often after a result like this, I don't want to have to sit there and wait for a week. I'm glad that we've only got a 2-day turnaround before we invite a team like Brentford to our gaff. because if we can get a win there, we put this conversation to bed. That was a very long way of me saying, no, I'm not worried. But the extent to which I think we lock them off, for me, is about whether that is a serious injury to Saliba or not.
Usually at this point, we suggest any lineup changes. I think right at the beginning of the show, was it James that mentioned that we might have looked a bit leggy against Chelsea after Bayern Munich? The surprise that we didn't make as many changes in that game, if we cast our minds back to that one. Another midweek fixture. Odegaard coming off the bench, second game in a row. Gyökeres has come off the bench now. Martinelli's come off the bench, started the game. Trossard apparently, he's okay, but obviously he's short. Would there be any, I call it surprise additions on Wednesday? James, Jordan, Sheroy?
Yeah.
But who would be the first change you'd make to the norm?
I would. Oh, no, I'm not answering your question. Someone else answer it. I was going to give a full bloody 11. Carry on.
The first change is actually what I wanted to see today, to be honest with you. I want Odegaard to start and I want to move Eze out to the left if Trossard's not fit. I wanted to see that today because I thought that element of composure on the ball, that level of sort of technical ability would have served us well in breaking a team like Chelsea down. And I think it would have served us really well going down to 10 had it happened, and had we been able to see it a little bit sooner. But we went with Martinelli. I think against a team like Brentford that are going to come there and they're going to be very, very organised. I'm not sure someone like Nelly gets much joy in that game, even though we are at home. I think if you have Eze on the left, I know you're moving him out of position where he looked good against Tottenham, but with him there, with Odegaard there, I would maybe also consider starting Gyökeres because he is the gunman that was brought in, and he was brought in for. He was brought in. Oh yeah, 1 minute, we're going to have a chat, bro. I saw that reaction. But he is the guy that was brought in to make the difference against teams like this, right? So you play him against teams like this.
No Glock watch this week, is there? Convenient. You know what I mean?
Well, did you really think you thought it was that bad? You thought it was that bad today?
I thought he didn't do. It wasn't. I thought he was bad. I just don't think he did anything. Just didn't do anything. Sheroy didn't hold the ball up once.
I felt like the minute he came on, he
Mm.
was so central that Saka got a hell of a lot more space on the right hand side, and it's not Gyökeres' fault that Saka skied those 3 shots from that right flank after Gyökeres came on. Saka had a lot more space to get those shots off once he came on because he did what he always does. He gets the attention of defenders in a way that Mikel Merino does not.
That's fair, and I'm trying to get my head off the. I'm trying to not be biased because I have an opinion of Gyökeres and how good he is. So I'm trying to look at his games and give a fair assessment of that 90 minutes or that 30 minutes, right? So I don't want to get skewed into by default. I'm expecting him to be crap and then just saying he's crap when he actually wasn't crap. I just want more. And the thing is, people will say to this, oh, but he's been out injured for a few weeks and he came on for 20 minutes or whatever it was. Give him grace. I don't have enough good performances in the tank from him to give him grace. I think I have to have seen a level of performance before to make me think, okay, I know what I'm working towards. And I know I'm in the minority as usual, but I'm just watching him thinking, I just need some more. I just need more. But listen, apart from not losing the game, the one positive from this game against Chelsea was the fact that we have players coming back in the attacking positions anyway. I just wanted to ask you guys, is there a question around, well, it's a bad way of asking the question. Do we need to start looking at where Rice can get a break? And is this the game where we try and find a midfield that gives Rice a game off?
Norgard against his old club? What do you reckon?
So I'm glad you asked this question. I think, and I will answer it in this. There are a couple players that I think have been managed a little bit in the games, whether it be taking them off or whatever. And I think Arteta, this game against Brentford at home, like I won't begrudge him making quite a few changes if it means just being sensible with some players. Now, if Saliba really is a knock and they just didn't want to risk it, I expect him to be back for this. Calafiori left the Italy camp, went down against Tottenham, but saw out the game, didn't even start against Bayern, and then got taken off on a yellow in this game. If he's just not at it right now and there's a bit of a niggle or something, take him out and go Lewis Skelly. So I think Timber, Saliba, Hincapie, Lewis Skelly, that should be a back four. Now, you raised a great question on Rice. I would go, only because Zubimendi came off today, I would go Zubimendi and Merino for this game. They started together against Forest, played very well in that game. I think they complement each other well. And Olympiacos, they played well together in that game. Rice is going to have to do another monster job away at Villa, who have won like 11 of their last 13 games and have like Onana and Tielemans and players like that in midfield. So I think we want Rice fit and ready to go for that. And Merino can drop back into midfield, knowing he's probably not going to play much football now. Gyökeres, Jesus, and others are back. So I go Zubimendi, Merino. I agree with Ødegaard in the 10. Eze on the left, Saka on the right, Gyökeres up front. And hopefully, Gyökeres can come off after now for Jesus. Rice can play 20 minutes for Merino. Madueke can come off for Saka. Martinelli for Eze. Timber for White. That's it. That'd be a perfect day. If you can get one area on, that would also be brilliant. That's what I'm going for.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Turks, what do you think? 'Cause I think, as James mentioned, I think all of our players, or a lot of our players, have been managed quite well, apart from Rice, because he's so important, because he's so athletic and fit. We got to look after Rice, because I don't want him breaking down any point soon. Is this the game, do you think, to take him out? Or do you think that if we don't win this game, as Sheroy said, there's questions now?
You're on mute, brother.
Oh, why don't tell him?
No, I got to tell him. I got to tell him.
Yeah. Sorry, you. I was looking at the fixtures in the background just to make an informed decision on my answer.
I like that.
I'd start him the next two, put him on the bench for the two after, because in my opinion, Brentford and Villa away, big games. We get 6 points. We forget about the dropped points today, and then it's Club Brugge and Wolves. And if you can't beat Club Brugge and Wolves without Rice, then there's problems bigger than Rice. So yeah, I'd probably hold off a week. I think Brentford and Villa are massive, especially considering Man City got Fulham away on Tuesday. I think that's a potential banana skin there for them. I'm not too sure who they got on the weekend. I know Liverpool got Sunderland midweek as well. So listen, we all talked about the week ahead before Spurs, Bayern Munich, Chelsea. The week ahead now, we've got two very winnable games that if we win, I believe the 5-point gap that is now will be extended come 7 days, 7 nights. I honestly think if we win 2 out of the next 2, our gap is wider than 5 points come next Monday. So I'd start Rice in both games.
I need the next 10 games. I need 9 wins. And the only one, I think we play Villa twice in the next 10 games.
Yeah.
I need the only one I've thought, yeah, that could be tricky is Villa away. I need 9 wins. And so it starts with Brentford. I've got a horrible feeling about this game, guys. I don't know why, but I don't know. I don't know, man.
I swear you say that
every game. Yeah, I probably do.
That actually probably means we win. So we'll see.
Let's hope so.
Let's move on to predictions. Before we move on to predictions, let's see what the table is looking like. Updated games played 3. This is how it's looking, people. So Jordan is top just because his name begins with J. We both got the same points. Me and Jordan are top with 7 points, no correct scores. Oh, it's meant to be James in third. Sorry, I didn't move the names around. So James is in third on 6 points, 1 correct score, and the guest is in fourth on 2 points, no correct scores. So James did get the correct score. He predicted 1-1. That's where he got 3 points from. But he also got an additional 2 points for predicting Saka as the star man. I also predicted Saka as star man, but I didn't get a correct score or correct result. So all I got was 2 points. Jordan predicted a 3-1 win, no points there, but he predicted Merino star man, so he got 4 points.
Put some respect on Sheroy. I mean, my boy Double M. Put some respect.
You went Merino again, man.
Come on, man. Respect my boy.
But
even when he's having a thinker, he's inevitable.
I'm loving this format though, because look how you can pick up points with, just a player just picks up something for you. Now you're loving Merino. Look at that.
He's my guy, man. He's my guy.
No, I like the format. I can't lie. The format, it's spicy.
I'm top, so I love it.
So I went into this with no idea how many points I claimed. I was like, I think I said 1-1. Did I go Saka? But wait, who did they go with? And then the big reveal, I'm like, okay.
If your star man scores, you get more than if you get a correct score.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'm gonna have to hold it down for the guests then and see what happens when you invite me on so late with 10 other next, man. Guests are at the bottom, bro. I'm getting this one right. Trust me.
Best guess so far. Best guess so far, Sheroy.
Oh yeah,
best guess.
Right.
Yeah, best guess.
All right. Yeah.
He's also the best guest on the Gooniverse.
Yeah, the only one. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't. You're not lying there. Cool. Prediction, Jordan. Arsenal, Brentford.
Oh dear.
Well, you said you didn't have a good feeling about it. Let's see how bad
that
feeling
bro.
was, isn't it?
I don't want to put it out there with a bad scoreline, though. That's the thing.
Well, you've already said you don't feel good about it.
I
You put it out there. You put it out there.
All right, I'm gonna go. I think Saliba will be back, so I'm gonna go positive. I'm gonna go 2-0. Starboy. So shut up, Starboy. I'm gonna go Starboy. Saka.
Why are you hiding behind the table?
Oh, there we go.
We got there 2-0 and Starboy Saka. Not that there's another Starboy on the radar that it could have been. But yeah, they prefer it like that, Jordan. So you must have chill. I'm gonna go 3-0. I'm gonna go 3-1. 3-1 and Starman. I'm gonna go Saka. Yeah, he has to do something, man. Saka.
I'm gonna go 1-0. And I'm gonna back Eze to have a moment.
1-0 Eze. Cool. Sheroy?
I don't think Saliba's fit. I'm going to go 2-1. Starman, just for you, Jordan. Victor Gyökeres, yeah?
Come on, bro.
Starman, yeah?
These are the games. Games.
Follow me back in it so I can DM you next week when he scores.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hardly ever on Twitter, but I'm gonna follow you up straight away. I promise. But just quickly, we need a clean sheet, boys. Let's get back to clean sheets because I think it's 4 goals in 3 games now we've conceded, which is not the worst tally in the world. But let's get back to standards. Let's get some clean sheets now. Let's get this run going again. Everyone's had their fun. I want 10 games now, no goals conceded.
Worse than that.
One of them was that Richarlison worldie though. One of them was that Richarlison match.
True. But it was self-inflicted because it came from Zubimendi doing a mad thing. So I hear what you're saying, yeah. But that was avoidable.
Even that set piece today, it felt extra.
It's cheap.
It felt because we do that to everyone else. It just felt it hit me. It hit me like it just started. What it is.
Our record defending set pieces isn't that great. Yoda gets mad praise for what he does. And this is where people are so lazy, their analysis. Oh, some amazing set pieces. No, we're very creative and our delivery is great. Cool. But last season, defending them, we were poor. Our numbers were bad.
Needs to improve. That's all the predictions, all the start men suggestions in. So we'll keep it moving on to comments of the day.
I have one.
Oh, you have one?
Even though I'm a guest, I thought I'd come
to have a comment of the day.
Best guest so far, that's why.
Like, bro, come on now. I'm auditioning, bro. Come on. Jordan, you're going to like this one, you know.
Oh, dear. He's
from KG's thread, 1032. FFS, this Jordan guy, man. I decided to introduce my younger brother to this podcast so he could start to get a sense of the Arsenal community. And this brother starts talking about pornos. I nearly swerved off the road trying to turn the pod off in a panic, man. Every time he reels me back in, this guy finds a way to turn me off. And I was like, yeah, you know.
Or turn you on.
I didn't know where you were going with that. You're like, you know, there are certain friends of mine that are quite into pornography, and they said that touch actually aroused them far more than
Sure, it's not my thing, but I've got friends that have told me. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention the little incognito mode problems that we had before we jumped on here. Yeah, do you want me to go into that?
Love me.
Talking about it with your friend. Yeah, all right.
All right,
love me.
So I got this from Arsenal JC. This was because I just read it in Jordan's voice. So he says, odds on Jordan not interrupting someone with. Then he goes, James. So good. So good. How do they pick up on these things? And then someone else goes, as a Latvian gooner, you're banned from Latvia.
Yes, I had that one. That was one of the ones I got here.
Oh, sorry, Turkish. Sorry.
No, it's cool. I got a few.
Go for it.
Big up Latvia still. Big up Latvia.
One off the top of my head, I tried to find it, but I couldn't. But it was off the not the last pod, but the pod before the last pod. We had
who's going back now?
No, but if you let me land, then you'll understand. I'm actually landing and not crashing into a mountain and blowing everything up. The person actually commented. Someone said, "Bring on Sheroy," and the reply. I remember the reply. If this was you, let me know. The reply said, "They're bringing him on after Chelsea. Watch." Now I don't know if that was Sheroy's brother, friend, or if that's if there was a through ball there.
No, I kept this one very, very tight-lipped. No one knew I was jumping on apart from James, obviously.
Nice. All right, so maybe we find James's burner account. I'm not too sure, but either way, I remember that comment. Someone screenshotted a comment for me as well a couple of shows ago, and again, I can't find it. I was trying to go through DMs, and it's just all over the gaff. But it was someone who met Jordan, and he said, "I'll shout you out on the pod," and he never actually shouted that. So it was one of them stories. I'll find it for the next one. And my comment of the day from the last one is again, John, listen, John, you're always about. He says, when Turkish said, "What's he doing on here?" And I thought this was an Arsenal podcast. I was shocked that he then said he's talking about Matisse and not Jordan.
He's
I see.
More of an off than Matisse.
Wow. My own community. It be your own people. It be your own people. I don't have a comment because I'm away, but I just want to I mentioned that I'm in Finland at the moment, and the amount of people, Arsenal fans in Finland, that hit me up and DMs me with suggestions of where to go, things to do. Big up everybody. I couldn't get back to everybody because there was about 10, 15 people that were like, I mean, 2 offered to even pick me up and take me out and around town. And I was like, I'm thank you, but but yeah, big up all the Arsenal fans in Helsinki because
Jordan, I just want it on record that Jordan is now saying that YouTube has disabled the comments in Finland. That's what he's saying. Because he's away, he didn't come with a comment, but the guy who wasn't even on the show last week did come with a comment. I'm just putting that out into the universe.
Man. Let me go to bed, man. It's 2 in the morning here.
I told you I'm shelling out. I'm not letting up today. I told you I'm shelling out today. Yeah. You've been waiting too long for it.
Now it's off the bed. You're right, though. He said I'm in Finland, so I couldn't get comment of the day. What's Finland got to do with comment of the day?
No, allow me. I ain't got my laptop with me. I'm a mess.
First Latvia, now Finland. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, we're going around, people. We're going around. All right, cool. Comments of the day done. Predictions done. Conversation done. Good night. Really, it's good morning because this is out in the morning. But good night from us Sunday night. Good morning to you Monday morning. Big up Sheroy.
Big up you, Sheroy, man.
Hour and a half nearly. Love as always. Part of the family. Yeah, you didn't let me land. You didn't let me land, bro. I'm part of the family. Come on. It was always going to happen. But you know what? Part of the reason that I personally waited so long, I'm a bit weird. I knew that a lot of people would expect you to come on, and I don't like doing what people expect.
That's the reason.
That's my reason. I don't know about you lot's reason. That's my reason. So, what you lot did, yeah. But thank you, James, for the through ball on the other guests so far, and Jordan on the Darren Bent one.
Don't try and drag us down with you, Turkey.
There's nowhere to be dragged. I'm telling you, I'm good. Trust me, I'm so good. But yeah, Jordan, James, pleasure as always. Sheroy, pleasure. Sheroy's voice, people, go subscribe to Sheroy's channel, and obviously the individual channels. Jordan, Coolest Disabled, Gooniverse News, this one, the Big Six, all of that, people. But tonight, most importantly, Sheroy's voice, and give us your comments as well. Leave your voice in the comment section. I will be back after the Brentford game. We're looking at a Thursday morning release, if possible. If we record late Wednesday night, Thursday morning release, which I'm hoping the guys are up for because they haven't seen December schedule yet. But we'll talk about that in a minute after we're done here. Love for the love, people. We're out. Peace.